One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo breaker!
Dictators, tyrants, they're the world's biggest assholes. Going place to place, conquering them, killing their people, and then selling them. But today I'm putting the best and baddest of them all in a fight to the death. So let's do a roll call. We have Frieza, Ganondorf, Bowser, Shao Kahn, Voldemort, and Darth Vader. Alright, let's start this review off right with the only character who's actually been on this show before, Darth Vader. Now, if you remember from his match with Akuma, he has a lot of shit, and nothing's changed at all for the Dark Sith Lord, so it's time for some review. Darth Vader has enhanced senses and can use the Force in multiple abilities, like barriers, redirecting attacks, choking others, and other crazy abilities that he can use with the Force, including reading minds and moving objects. He can also use his Force to heal his wounds and stun people with the Force Heal and Force Stun. Darth Vader wields his red lightsaber and a combination, it's basically a combination of the two greatest weapons of all time, a sword and a freaking laser beam. It's perfect for slashing through people, objects, metal, just slash them to bits. He also wears not to mention he can throw it like a freaking lightsaber, and he wears his cool suit, which makes him resistant to lasers and lightsabers to some extent. Vader is strong enough to fight General Grievous and pull starships out of from the sky. He's fast enough to steer light-speed spaceships, block lasers, reflect lasers, and fight other Jedis. Not to mention, he's also durable enough to survive prolonged attacks from Darth Sidious's lava and even multiple explosions. Not to mention, Vader's a genius. He's made a super fast pod racer at the age of 9 and now commands armies. But he isn't perfect. Basically, you can fry out his suit with an electrical attack, and that's really not that hard to do. And without his suit, he'll die because he can't breathe. Not to mention, anybody stronger than him or with a weapon that could, like another lightsaber, could put him down in a single shot if you really needed to. Frieza. Debatably Goku's most iconic villain, and the evil tyrant who goes planet to planet killing people and selling their planets, and then he destroyed the Saiyan race and, well, most of them. I mean, he left Goku and Vegeta and a few others, which ultimately proved to be his downfall. Frieza, being a Dragon Ball character, can fly and use his ki energy for offensive and defensive purposes. He can also sense energy and ki levels, and he can create after images. Frieza comes fully equipped with a full set of special techniques and transformations. Frieza has his first, second, and third form, which all boost his powers. Then his final form boosts his powers even further and gives him regeneration. But if he needs an even bigger boost of power, he'll go to his final form's full power potential, which is really a mouthful to say. But basically lets go of all the power that was inside of him. But thanks to Resurrection F, Frieza has gained a new form on top of his final form that allowed him to keep up with Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta. This form was called Golden Frieza. However, he does seem to have a time limit with it thanks to his lack of training in this form because he's kind of a dipshit. So he actually has a multitude of ki-based attacks like his Death Beam, a small thin ki blast from his index finger that pierces through any foe and basically kills everything. And with the Death Ball and Supernova Blast, he can pretty much eradicate entire planets. His Death Saucer is basically a ki buzzsaw that can cut through foes, and his Death Wave is a wave of ki energy that can dash. With that, he can dash forward with ki surrounding him. But Frieza's most completely devastating attack, and probably his most fucked up one, is the Psycho Bomb. A small ki shot that, when it makes contact, causes the opponent to fly up and explode. Frieza is strong enough to fight Goku in his Super Saiyan Blue form, and was actually entered into the Tournament of Power, which is a pretty good feat of strength in its own. He's fast enough to keep up with Goku and Vegeta in Super Saiyan Blue, and he's durable enough to survive beatings from Goku and Vegeta in their Super Saiyan Blue forms. Frieza's also incredibly smart. He's run planetary markets, and he conquers and sells planets. Not to mention, he's a skilled enough warrior that he's able to keep up with Goku in a fight. But Frieza isn't extremely overconfident, and he's sadistic, preferring to drag out opponents' sufferings over time and humiliate them rather than kill them instantly, even when such a thing is fully possible for him to do. Shao Kahn, the evil tyrant of Outworld and the world's cheapest final boss. I mean, dear God, that shoulder ram and freaking hammer throws. Shao Kahn can use magic and manipulate energy and even manipulate souls. He can also, and to some extent, he can regenerate and create force fields and clones. Well, the clones and force fields he can fully do, but to some extent he can regenerate. Now, that energy I mentioned, well, he can use it to create energy weapons that are just as dangerous and deadly as the real versions. He also wields a large hammer used for executing his foes and bashing their skulls in. He can surround himself in energy and charge with his shoulder, charge shoulder first to knock his opponents to the ground. Shao Kahn is pretty damn strong. He's strong enough to beat Onaga, and he merged realms at one point and killed Raiden before Raiden reset the timeline like a little whiny bitch. But Shao Kahn is capable of keeping up with Raiden and the Thunder God in combat, which is both a great strength and durability and even speed feat. Shao Kahn's also super durable as he can endure attacks from Raiden, as I mentioned earlier, and he's a master strategist and has plotted multiple world invasions in other realms, and he's clearly a good enough fighter because he's kept up in Mortal Kombat tournaments for quite a while. But he is like severely overconfident, and he will taunt his foes, usually getting him into bad situations. Voldemort, the one who shall not be named, and the guy who gave Harry Potter his iconic scar. Voldemort actually has the ability of magic. Oh, who would have guessed? And he can create zombie warrior thingies. He can also control snakes, and he was technically immortal until all the Horcruxes were destroyed, so that doesn't matter anymore. He's actually resistant to soul manipulation, and he can mess with people's minds and memories. He also wields his iconic Elder Wand that he uses to cast his spells. Voldemort's most iconic spell is Avada Kedavra, an instant kill spell that pretty much instantly kills anything it touches. With Crucio, Voldemort causes his foes to feel immense pain all over. Imperil allows Voldemort to have complete control of his victims if performed correctly, and Fiendfire is a seeking, unextinguishable flame that burns his foes. Voldemort is strong enough to fight Dumbledore and destroy Hogwarts' magic barrier. He's quick enough to fight Dumbledore, and Voldemort is durable enough to survive attacks from Dumbledore. He's smart enough to launch a full-on attack on Hogwarts, and he's highly knowledgeable in magic and is even able to keep up with masters of magic like Harry Potter and Dumbledore. But Voldemort is incredibly cocky and overconfident. He's really overconfident in his own power and thinks he's unstoppable, which does get him into tricky situations sometimes. The hero, the princess, and the evil, constantly being reborn, but we're going to focus on the evil today, Ganondorf. Ganon can use his magic, regenerate, and he can use telekinesis and telepathy. He can also fly, teleport, create illusions, and with the Triforce of Power, he gains a massive increase in stats. He also becomes resistant to most forms of damage, however they can still hurt him. He can manipulate energy, fire, lightning, earth, water, weather, ice, light, darkness, poison, blood, mind, curses, morality, death, and even souls. He can create barriers and stomp on the ground to stun foes with shockwaves. He can necromance, transmute things, create powers, nullify holy powers, create portals. He can also create sentient constructs, or even shadow versions of himself, along with creating a never-ending supply of monsters with different effects. He can also become intangible, possess things, resurrect, but only with the blood of the person who killed him, so it's gonna be useless in this match. He can also make opponents fat, create illusions, remove people from the battlefield by sending them to the Dark World, or just straight up imprison them in a magical crystal. He's resistant to being erased from goddamn existence. He can manipulate people's souls, and he's even resistant to being sealed away. Ganon also wields a multitude of swords, and in his Ganon form, he wields 2 large swords and sometimes a trident. When Ganondorf needs an extra boost in power, he transforms into a giant pig form known as Ganon. Ganondorf can launch fire and lightning balls at his enemy, and even summon fire bats, and like a whole bunch of other crazy shit and spells. Ganondorf is far stronger than most people in the Zelda universe, and while still having most of his power sealed away, he was able to rotate the planet 180 degrees in a second. He's faster, he's super fast. Like, honestly, in his weakest incarnation, which since this is like a composite, we count all incarnations, but at his weakest, he could run from the forest to his castle in seconds. He's capable of surviving attacks from Link, and even his own magical damage. He's also super intelligent, as he's capable of taking over Hyrule and commanding armies, and not that long of a time. It doesn't even take him that long to plan it. But Ganon, while he is able to be killed, he is he's resistant to normal weapons, but he is highly vulnerable to holy weapons, and they just like absolutely wreck his shit. Bowser, the biggest baddie in all of video games. He can teleport, use fire breath, grow in size, come back to life after death as Dry Bowser, create multiple clones of clone Bowsers, create an army of minions. He can also use his Sonic Roar, which basically stuns people. He's immune to instant kill attacks and heat. He also create multiple clones of himself, albeit less powerful than him, and he's got a whole bunch more less important powers, but they are factored into this match. They're just not really important to note because they won't help him very much. When he needs extra mobility, he drives the Koopa Clown car, and if he needs an extra transformation, he can turn into Dream Bowser with the power of the Dream Stone. Bowser can create black holes and devour universes, And with the power of the Dreamstone, Bowser gains the power of multiple Dream Realms, and each Dream Realm is a universe. Bowser is fast enough to hit Starship Mario that can travel at faster than light speeds, and he can travel across the universe in a few seconds, and even fight Mario. He's actually strong enough to survive blows from the Zeke Keeper, and he's a tactical genius, but does fall victim to strokes of stupidity quite often. He does have his flaws, and he actually lets the anger get the best of him most of the time, which is a bad habit of his. However, he usually pulls out, well, not on top, but it doesn't stop him from trying. He's a very persistent dude. So, these rules are the same as the ninja match. Everyone receives mugshots of their foes, but doesn't know anything about them, just their appearance. They won't know their names, or any of their abilities, or anything. So, let's see what Tyrant comes out on top. Ganondorf is sitting on his throne when Shao Kahn kicks open his castle door. Ganondorf floats over off of his throne and lands in front of Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn grabs his hammer and swings at Ganondorf. Ganondorf catches his hammer and sucker punches Shao Kahn and follows up with a kick that sends him through the castle wall. Ganondorf floats over and a purple aura forms around him. Shao Kahn stands back up and rams into him with his shoulder. He then slams his hammer down on Ganondorf, causing him to crash to the ground. Shao Kahn laughs and points at Ganondorf. Ganondorf stands back up and throws an electrical ball at Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn stumbles back from the impact and Ganondorf shoves his sword through Shao Kahn's chest. Shao Kahn falls to his knees and Ganondorf grabs him and causes his body to burst in an explosion of dark energy. Ganondorf floats off into the distance. Meanwhile, Voldemort hears laughing as Frieza lands in front of him. Voldemort raises his hand and Frieza knocks the wand out of his hand with a single tail strike. Frieza shoots a death beam at Voldemort, who teleports out of the way and catches his wand. Voldemort fires a long green blast at Frieza, who fires a death beam, and the two collide in midair. The two struggle for a moment until Frieza fires a Psycho Death Slash, knocking Voldemort's wand from his hand. Frieza flies over and shoots a small energy blast into Voldemort. Voldemort begins to float up into the air and then explodes, raining down blood and guts all over the forest. Darth Vader stumbles upon Frieza seconds later and then slashes at him, cutting off his tail. Frieza turns around pissed and goes to punch Vader. Vader then grabs Frieza with the Force Choke and lifts him up. Frieza then lifts up his finger and launches a death ball at Vader. Darth Vader reflects it with the Force, but in the process lets go of Frieza. Frieza goes over to punch Vader, sending him through a tree. Vader then stands back up and turns on his lightsaber. Darth Vader throws his lightsaber, throws it at Frieza, who flies up and dodges it. Before he lands to continue fighting Darth Vader, a sword goes through Darth Vader's back. Vader falls to the floor, revealing Ganondorf. Bowser roars and walks into the area, and Frieza sits above watching. Bowser runs over and slashes at Ganondorf with his claws, but Ganondorf grabs him and slams him into the ground, and fires a ball of dark energy at him, causing an explosion. Bowser stands back up, barely even hurt from the attack. Ganondorf transforms into Ganon and stabs at Bowser with his trident. Bowser dodges, grabs his trident, and pulls in Ganon. Bowser then headbutts Ganon, and then it leaves him stunned as Bowser burns him with his fire breath. Ganon summons a lightning bolt to rain down, shocking Bowser, but Bowser in a rage grabs Ganon and smashes him into the ground. Bowser grabs him again and throws him upwards, and as he goes, Bowser gets in his shell and starts spinning, and Ganon then gets caught in Bowser's shell, grinding him into a fine paste of flesh, blood, and organs. Bowser roars in victory as Frieza lands in front of him laughing. Bowser runs over to slash at Frieza, who dodges and powers up to his final form. Frieza looks cocky as he charges a barrier of ki and flies forward at Bowser at full speed, knocking him to the ground. Bowser stands back up and grows to a tremendous size and starts slashing and smashing at Frieza, and just absolutely starts stomping and causing explosions and fireballs. Frieza turns into his golden form, flies up and launches multiple death beams through Bowser, knocking him to the ground bleeding, causing him to shrink back to normal size. Frieza then starts to charge up one last death beam to finish off Bowser, but Bowser stands back up and pulls out the Dreamstone. He starts to flash with rainbow-colored skin. Bowser then jumps on Frieza and headbutts him, cracking his ribs. Bowser smashes Frieza with his fist repeatedly, but Frieza narrowly escapes and starts to fly up, but Bowser jumps up and grabs Frieza as he starts to fly. He then rips off Frieza's arm. Frieza flies high into the air, and then proceeds to decides to take the planet with him as he starts to charge a supernova. Bowser fires a whole bunch of fireballs that burn Frieza, who throws down the supernova. But Bowser catches it and launches it right back along with a fury of fireballs. Frieza tries to escape the supernova but is hit as it destroys Frieza's entire body. Bowser starts to head back to his castle to see if he can capture Peach. Our winner is Bowser, and please put down the pitchforks and don't exit the video yet. Just let me explain. Now, this is a shocker to most people, but just give me a minute and I'll go through the rankings and tell you why each character got the rank they got, okay? In last place is Voldemort. Yes, he has his killing curse that can kill everyone on the roster except for Bowser, who's immune to instant kills, but it can kill the rest of them, right? Well, Bowser, Frieza, and Vader are way too fast for it to even be able to hit them, and Shao Kahn and Ganondorf, the only ones that they can technically be hit by it, are no strangers to magic and would know to reflect an attack like that. So really, Voldemort doesn't stand a single shot. Like, he has no chance on this winning this battle. Not to mention his stats are just straight up pathetic. In 5th place is Shao Kahn. Now, he is very strong and brutal and versatile. And he's pretty quick in his own right, with planet level strength, but his stats are smaller than the rest of the roster, other than Voldemort, by a decent chunk actually. And without any special hacks or bullshit moves or anything, he doesn't really stand a chance against the rest of the roster. In 4th place is Ganon. Ganondorf has some pretty good stats, being Dwarf Star level, and thanks to Hyrule Warriors, those stats are just like ridiculous. But in comparison to Vader, Bowser, and Frieza, he doesn't really have much to fight. Now, his whole magic and intelligence can allow him to kill the 2 people below him, and maybe even take out Vader if he's lucky. But he doesn't have any hacks or bullshit attacks that would allow him to actually cheat his way to the top. In 3rd place is Darth Vader. If you remember in the Akuma vs. Darth Vader episode, in that review, I put him at multi-continental level, which despite it being a lesser strength, with the thanks to his amazing speed, being at massively faster than light, and the power of the Force, it'll allow him to take out the 4 fighters before him, even though most of them are stronger than him. Not to mention his lightsaber is pretty damn good. But this match boils down to Bowser vs. Frieza. Now, at their strongest, Bowser is multiversal, thanks to the Dreamstone. Now, let me just state that. That's only with the Dreamstone. On his own, he is a universal threat, which is about the same that we can get from Frieza. Now, thanks to the Dreamstone though, when he activates that form, he gets the power of all the Dream Realms. Each one is a universe, and we don't know how many Dream Realms there necessarily are, but we can just at least say he's multiversal. Now, Frieza, thanks to Resurrection F, can scale to just a whole bunch of, he can scale to Goku and Vegeta at Super Saiyan Blue, which is a universal threat, which is really good, but it's not enough to beat Bowser. So Bowser holds a huge strength edge with the Dreamstone anyway. If he doesn't have it, he's still a universal threat and can still keep up with Frieza. Now, through scaling to Mario and the fact that Bowser can hit Starship Mario, we can tell you Bowser is massively faster than light. And thanks to Frieza's fight with Goku, as a Super Saiyan Blue, he's also massively faster than light. Although I can give a slight edge here to Frieza, just he has a slight speed advantage, but not a crazy lead in speed like Bowser has in the strength and durability categories. Frieza is far smarter though. His intelligence and speed are not enough to make up the gap that Bowser has in strength and durability. Like, Bowser has a huge ass strength and durability edge. Not to mention, Bowser's abilities to create clones of himself would be way more than Frieza would be able to handle. Yes, they're weaker clones, but that's more that Frieza has to worry about. When he's fighting a foe that is that much stronger than him, and he has to worry about not only that, but a bunch of other Bowsers that are going to be attacking him, he's going to be quite distracted, leaving an easy win for Bowser. Now, before you get all, ragey, and before there's salt in the comments about Frieza losing, if there was no Dreamstone in this match, if I had banned the Dreamstone, then yes, this match would have easily been Frieza's. But since I was using Resurrection F Frieza, it only seemed fair if we're going to let him have his golden form to let everybody have everything in their arsenals. So, our winner is Bowser, King of the Koopas.